What's up guys, DT here for a game assessment for Star Wars Battlefront 2. Boy oh boy, this is the one I've been looking forward to the entire year, but before we talk about the actual game, we're going to talk about loot boxes and progression because they have changed.
Move to intercept.
The progression system is I would say a very confusing mess right off the bat. Players can equip 3 star cards per class, which come in different rarities. You can then upgrade each card 3 times, with each upgrade making said cards just more powerful. To upgrade those cards though, you will need to be rank 10, 15, and 20 respectively. All of this goes for the ability cards as well. It is here that problems do surface. You might be upset to hear that loot crates provide all tiers of basic star cards, allowing you to bypass the aforementioned level requirements if you were to upgrade them yourself. This allows players to become more powerful by chance, and incentivizes players to spend real money on loot boxes. In this little tasty example, you see that I'm level 8, yet I have a tier 2 and a tier 3 star card equipped simply because I found them in loot crates. Normally, like I said before, you'd have to be level 10 and 15 respectively to build them yourself. That is really shitty. Thankfully though, EA's matchmaking systems do take into consideration, or so they say, the quality of your loadouts and skill, which do help to mitigate these issues. Now as for the weapons, EA has taken most of them out of the crates. This is a good thing, and made them attainable through playing the game, thankfully. You can unlock 3 additional weapons per class by reaching kill milestones. So all of this is going to take some time, especially getting those hero units. So there's both improvements and crappiness with this new system. I think it's most certainly better than it was during the beta, but it's not good by any means. It's acceptable, considering EA has at least been listening to us and adjusting things to make it, tolerable. I do think though that getting the free DLC does outweigh the negatives of the progression and the micro-gambling systems as a whole. Now with all that out of the way, let's talk about the actual game. The multiplayer component of Battlefront 2 is bigger, it's more fun, and it's more engaging in every way than its predecessor. Galactic Assault is the preferred way to play Battlefront 2 in my opinion. It's an objective-based mode that has many stages depending on map type. You might have to siege a beach, and then blow out some defenses, and then siege the main citadel in stage 3. Or you might have to defend a perimeter of a lush jungle, falling back once it's taken, to take up defense of a castle. It's pretty awesome stuff, and I pretty much never got bored. Part of that is because the game just feels and looks incredible. If you're a Star Wars nerd like me, then you're gonna freak out all the time just like I did. The authenticity of the sound assets, the music, the animations, the Jedi and the Sith, the Wookiees that scamper about indoor, and the scale, it's spot on and it's drop dead gorgeous. If you thought the last game looked good, then buckle up buddy. Just wait till you see Battlefront 2, especially Starfighter Assault. I almost want to say that Starfighter Assault is worth the $60 by itself. I have never played a game with such clean, crisp, buttery, responsive, and satisfying controls ever. The flying is primo tellagio. Honestly, it makes the 2015 Battlefront's flying look and feel like horse shit. Now you can roll, you can boost, you can dodge, dip, duck, dive, and dodge your way through space, debris, asteroids, starships, and space stations to your heart's content. The sense of speed is legit awesome, as is the actual space combat. It's pretty much the same setup as Galactic Assault. You've got to do certain things, the objectives change all the time. It's this very organic and fast-paced mode where things never let up. Pretty fun shit. My only qualm with these two modes is that they are fairly contained experiences. I think we all lament the lack of Galactic Conquest from the first games, the huge sense of scale, that feeling of huge warfare. It's really not here. If you're looking for it in Battlefront 2 either. While the galactic maps are big, they are what I would call moving big. They are kind of marathon maps where you're fighting in small spaces until you trigger the next event, where you'll then move on to the next event. This gets repeated a few times until the final stage and then the match ends. You're never really fighting on huge scales. It's always smaller areas, and I do feel like this is an opportunity for the game in the future to expand on not just the overall scale, but the scale at which players interact with and each component of the map. Now obviously the issue in regards to this is that you die quite a bit in Battlefront 2. Time to kill is very low, you can get one shot by certain sniper rifles, so you'll often die and run back through the same small spaces over and over and over. In this regard, there is a lack of overall diversity to the maps. But if you get it right, you'll live as long as you can to rack up those points to spin on hero units. You'll earn these by completing objectives and just killing enemies, and you can only do that if you survive. I love this change from the coin system of the prior game to points because you won't get a hero every map. You'll have to make a choice mid-match usually. Do I spend my points on a jet trooper or the Wookiee, or do I chance it and save it for Yoda? I very much appreciated this kind of mini-game that resulted within each match to maximize both your acquisition and use of this resource. Pretty cool stuff. So overall, the multiplayer in Battlefront 2 is pretty goddamn fun.
Should've trained harder, I guess.
Now, of course, the last component to Battlefront 2 is the single-player campaign. It's about 5 to 6 hours long and a dozen or so missions deep. Each mission will take you once again about 20 minutes, and they are very reminiscent of the structure of Battlefield campaigns. You'll get some exposition, you'll play through a level, and it ends with a quick cutscene, and then you keep going. But this time you play as Eden Versio, who, by the way, is one hot frickin' babe. Anyway, the campaign spans about 30 hours of original story, somewhere between maybe Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. It goes by pretty quick. You will see some familiar faces, all of which are impeccably voice acted.
Agent Miko, those jump calculations were perfect.
Thank you, ma'am. Hope the landing wasn't too rough.
This isn't Mass Effect Andromeda here. The lip syncing and presentation are fantastic. Some of that may be attributed to, nostalgia or the fact that this is Star Wars, but still, I did feel engaged during the campaign. But just keep in mind, this isn't a fully fleshed out, epic Star Wars single-player game on its own. This is a campaign for a shooting game. There isn't always the time to explain everything or explore every character very deeply. Its presentation and pacing are very, very similar to, I would say, Battlefield 3 and 4, so if you played those campaigns, you'll know what I mean once you start playing. But considering the lapse of any campaign from the last game, I believe it to be worth the playthrough and a decent step towards a fully fleshed out single-player experience in the near future. So should you buy Star Wars Battlefront 2? On one hand, I want to say yes, it's a huge improvement. Add in Galactic Conquest and remove the ridiculous loot boxes, and this game is what Battlefront in 2015 should have been. While the progression and microgambling have really no business in here whatsoever, the other layers of the game are both impressive and fun. At the end of the rainbow, DICE has put in a lot of great work into this game, and EA has then reached in and taken much out of it. You be the judge of what's more important to you. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great week ahead of you, and I hope to see you in our next video. Peace, love, and happiness till then.